Some places that are really important to me are the streets around where I live in Ballarat. I see these places every day. I love the clash of home gardens, street trees, nature strips, footpaths and roads, and people and cars. Well, I don't love cars. The house over the road from us puts up Christmas lights every year. I love the surprises you find in front gardens. A Washingtonia foliifera, a California palm, in Ballarat. Around the corner on the main street, houses have slowly been disappearing and replaced by shops and offices. This is one of the last houses left, and the people who live here have their garden on display. Massive sunflowers with little faces, glaciandras and cosmos peer over the fence. There's nothing else quite like it around. While some gardens are pretty boring, with roses, diosma, cypress, not much else, there are constant reminders of the individuals who make these gardens. Here there are really unusual lancewoods from New Zealand peeking out behind some fruit trees. These landscapes also tell us about the environment we live in. Here's a spectacular white-trunked eucalyptus silver princess from WA. Perhaps these will be more common in future climates, while the silver birch next door is perhaps likely to disappear during the next drought. Hundreds died in Ballarat during the last one. This myrtle leaf milkwort from South Africa is considered a bit of a weed, although not really around Ballarat. Does this mean we shouldn't plant it? I'm not sure. I'm starting to think weeds will be a lot more important in our future. Plants are going to have to move around to survive as the climate changes. And we can't even use Roundup anymore as it causes cancer. And it used to be considered the safest chemical to use. There used to be an enormous and unruly blue gum sticking out of the backyard of this place. These have been slowly disappearing from gardens and parks around the city. Probably a good thing from a safety perspective, but I kind of miss them. When you look carefully, every garden is different. I do wish this place had a window connecting the house to the street. A big garage door is very unfriendly. Front yards are used for everything, parking cars and storing boats. Demonstrating your mastery over nature. I love the way the people here have recreated some bush and it's spreading out, taking over the nature strip. While sometimes gardens do acknowledge the landscapes that existed before, often they don't. Over time and away from the fringes, this probably doesn't matter so much. But it is pretty weird when gardens and the bush they replace are in sharp relief like this. While large trees are disappearing from gardens, they still have a foothold in public landscapes, drought and climate change permitting. I love the big row of trees down the median strip of Ballarat's main street. It's a pity there isn't a footpath or way for people to spend more time out here. And why is that bench seat looking at the road rather than the trees? You can see some of these large European trees are still struggling, even though the drought broke 6 years ago here. Some are doing fine. This is a claret ash. And that's my local fish and chip shop. Each Friday during the drought I was there watching a plane tree die. Now it's been replaced by a young plane tree. I hope this one fares better, although I fear it won't. You still find the odd gum tree hidden away, despite the council having a no natives policy for a long time, and that's to preserve heritage. which is a bit weird when you think about what these landscapes must have looked like a few hundred years ago. And there are some old photos and paintings showing these streets filled with conifers or blue gums, depending on the fashion at the time. We've got a pretty narrow view of heritage. These public landscapes also say something pretty clear about the social landscape they live in. Wealthy areas tend to have lots of large trees, all provided by the public purse. There's another one of those Canary Island date palms. Hope that doesn't disappear when the block gets developed. But in disadvantaged areas there are big wide streets and hardly any street trees. Having more street trees here would surely make this a happier and healthier place to live. I'm increasingly worried about lawn. I can't see how lawn like this is part of a future that is more sustainable, uses less water, fertiliser and herbicide. Surely if we got rid of this and planted some flowers or vegetables or anything really, it would make the city a better place for people, and I'm sure the butterflies and bees would be happier too. I'm not sure this is that sustainable, but I kind of like it. This sequoia must have been planted well over 100 years ago. I hope some of the trees that we are planting today live that long. I just wanted to leave you by sharing the street I live in.